Today we are going to be installing Windows 11 on this 2006 MacBook Pro. Now, I recently restored this MacBook in this video up here, so if you guys want to see that, definitely check it out. And today we are going to see if this machine can run Windows 11. So I'm going to make a Windows 11 installer on this USB right here, and we are going to try the direct approach first. And then if it doesn't work, I'm probably going to install some other Windows versions like Windows 7 and then maybe try to upgrade to Windows 11. But we will pretty much see whatever works on this machine. And spoiler alert, it took me over 3 days to achieve something. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get started with the video. So unfortunately I lost the recording of me making the bootable USB, but what I did was I just downloaded the latest Windows 11 ISO straight from Microsoft. I also downloaded Rufus, and while making the USB I just disabled all of those RAM checks and UEFI boot checks and stuff like that, because you can't do that inside of Rufus, and then I made the USB. So let's continue on the laptop. And here we have the laptop with the USB plugged in, and it actually showed up as an EFI boot. The first one I created when I selected MBR didn't work, so then I went back and created another one with the other option, and now this one works. So let's try to boot from this USB and see if it will actually work. And well, that's just frozen for the last 10 minutes. Let's try again, but I'll plug the USB into a different port. Okay, and we get it once again, so let's select the USB and try again, and we get nothing once again. Well, that's unfortunate. However, we do have another trick up our sleeve, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but we have a DVD for Windows 10 32-bit. So I'll try to install that onto the machine, and then we'll try to upgrade from Windows 10 over to Windows 11. So let's try that, I guess. So I'll boot into the boot menu once again. There we go. And now I'll just insert the DVD into the machine. And after a while the DVD appeared, so let's launch it. Select CD-ROM boot type. I'll just do one, I guess, but I can't even do anything right here. Let's hope that after a while it will just continue on its own. And it's not even letting me continue, so yeah. Let's try Windows 7 maybe, or something. So let's give tiny Windows 7 a try and see if we have any more luck. Okay, it has popped up. Okay, Windows is loading files, so this one might actually work, hopefully, maybe. I'll just let the machine do its thing, and let's hope that we'll be able to get into Windows 7 at least. Okay, and we can see the beautiful Frutiger arrows, so it looks like tiny Windows 7 will actually install. And the resolution just updated. Nice. Okay, I'll go over to drive options, and I'll delete all of the existing partitions, because we're not going to need macOS on this anymore. And I'll just select a new partition, make one, and we can click next and install Windows to that partition. Now, since this is tiny Windows 7, this process should be pretty quick. So let's see how quick. And after it restarted, we just completely white-screened. So yeah, I guess... Oh, wait, it might be booting. Okay. There we go, we're booting into Windows 7. I'm not sure why that took like 2 minutes, even though we are using an SSD, but it's okay. It looks like we will be able to boot into Windows 7. There we go, we are completing the installation, so this might work after all. So let's hope that next time I see you guys, I'll be in Windows 7. So here we are in Windows 7, and tiny Windows 7 even gave us this beautiful wallpaper. But yeah, now I'm just gonna try to insert the same USB that I tried booting from for Windows 11. And let's see what it says in Windows 7 right here. We have your device is ready to use. So let's go over to our computer, and here is our Windows 11 installation file. So we do have a setup.exe, so let's try to launch that. The version of this file is not compatible with the version of Windows you're running. Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh, Tiny 7 is 32-bit. So let's hope this will rescue us. I'm not even sure if this is the 64-bit version, but I'll just pray it is. And here we are in the Windows 7 installer, so let's select all of our options. And let's hope that this is actually the 64-bit version. So I'll just hit install now, and I'll just install this, and I'll be back once it's installed. There we go. So now we're installing Windows, so I'll be back when we're actually in the operating system. So here we are in Windows, so let's see if it's 64-bit, and of course not. Okay, I give up. I'll just make a bootable Windows 7 64-bit USB, and let's hope that we will actually be able to boot off a Windows 7 USB, and then hopefully after we install that version of Windows, we will be able to open the Windows 11 installer, and maybe we'll actually get somewhere.
So, the Windows 7 ISO has just been downloaded, so let's make a bootable USB. So I just selected the Windows 7 ISO that just got downloaded, so let's plug our USB in, and we'll leave everything else as it is, so let's just create the Windows 7 USB.
And here we have the USB, so let's try to boot from it and see if it will work. Absolutely not. Oh god. Well, I guess I gotta do some more research, so I'll be back tomorrow with this. It's the next day, and I think I've just come up with a solution. So on the USB, we now have the ISO file for Windows 7 64-bit, as well as image burn, and I do have a blank DVD-R right here. Let's try to burn the 64-bit version of Windows 7 to a DVD, because it won't boot from USB. So let's set up image burn first, and I'll just agree to all of this and install it on my computer, like so. And we can click write image file to disk. I'll put the blank DVD in the drive. Thankfully, it did recognize the MacBook's drive right away. And now we need to select the Windows 7 64-bit ISO that I moved to the USB. And I don't need a verify. And we are pretty much ready to burn it. I won't do max. I'll just do AWS for the write speed. And we can click write. And now it will start burning the ISO over to our DVD. So hopefully then we'll be able to boot from it. And then just upgrade to Windows 11. There we go, and now the operation has been successfully completed. So now we are ready to boot straight from that DVD. So let me just shut down the machine, and now we can just hold the Alt key, which will bring up our boot menu, hopefully. There we go, and now we can also eject our USB, because I did forget to do that. And now we have the Windows DVD, so let's just select that and hope it boots from it. And we once again get this CD-ROM boot type thing, which I can't bypass once again, unfortunately. We've also got this other option called EFI boot, so let's maybe try to select that and see what happens. And yeah, we still get the same screen. I can try to plug in a keyboard to maybe see what happens. Nope, it still doesn't let us click anything. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, last resort. Windows XP 64-bit to Windows 7 64-bit to hopefully Windows 11. So let's see if it will even boot into the install DVD. Okay, there's the CD, so let's try to boot from it. Yes! Okay, we are in the Windows XP 64-bit setup. So let's hope that we'll be able to actually set this up, and then we'll boot straight from the operating system to the Windows 7 64-bit installation, and then hopefully we can continue to Windows 11. So I'll just let this setup run, and I'll be back when this version of Windows is set up. And all of you have seen the Windows XP setup process on this channel a million times, so I just skipped that. But here we are in Windows XP 64-bit, and now we are finally running a 64-bit version of Windows. So hopefully now, if we eject the Windows XP CD, and if we put in our Windows 7 64-bit DVD, There we go, it just got recognized. And here we have the actual install Windows 7 window, which I've actually never seen before. I've never directly upgraded from XP to Windows 7. So let's just click install now and hope that it will work. Setup is copying temporary files. Okay, so let's hope that we get no errors. And hopefully we'll be able to get the 64-bit version of Windows 7 running on here. Okay, so the setup has just started, so I'll just accept all of this. I'll go for the upgrade option, and you can directly upgrade from XP to 7. Okay, so I guess I just need to go for the other one. So we'll go for custom right here, and we'll install a brand new version of Windows 7 on the partition. And there we go, now we are installing Windows 7. So let's hope that all of this goes smoothly. And if it does, we should be booted into the 64-bit version of Windows 7 finally. And then hopefully we'll be able to perform the upgrade over to Windows 11. Or at least first to Windows 10 and then to 11. But yeah, I'll be back once this is installed, because we've been through this process 3 times already in this video. So yeah. And here we are finally in Windows 7. So let me just make sure that it is 64-bit. And it is. So now we hopefully shouldn't have any issues with running the Windows 11 USB. So I did have to remake it just because I wiped it a couple of times already. So I'll just plug this in right now and hopefully we'll be able to run the setup. So here is the setup. So let's see what happens. Okay, do you want to allow the following program to make change to this computer? Yes, so it looks like it's gonna work now if it doesn't error out. So let's hope that it launches something anytime soon. And it hasn't loaded up yet, but the task manager does say that it is running. So maybe we should let it be for a little bit. So it unfortunately isn't running from the USB. I'm gonna try to connect this machine to the internet and then download the actual installation online, and then maybe we'll be able to start the installation in that way. So I just moved Supermium over to the USB, so let's get that set up first if we can, just so we have a normal web browser so we don't need to deal with Internet Explorer. So install for all users and create shortcuts. Okay, nice. So now we should have a working web browser, and we do. Nice. So let's go to download Windows 11, and let's go ahead and get the installation tool right here and hope that it will run. So let's try to run it as an administrator right here. And yeah, it just doesn't bring up anything. So maybe we need to fully update this version of Windows 7 to make any of these newer applications runnable. So let's just get a legacy update, and that will basically get us everything that we need. So I'll install absolutely everything that it's recommending here, and this will also get all of the drivers working. So I'll just let all of this install first, and then we'll try to run the Windows 11 installation once again. And hopefully after this version of Windows is fully updated, we might actually get somewhere. Okay, so all of the updates have just been applied, so let's try running the setup right now and click yes right here. Oh wait, it's loading. Yes! There we go, it's finally gonna open now. So the updates were the issue that it needed. So let's hope that we'll be able to continue right now. So let's go ahead and click next. And I'm pretty sure this will all take quite a lot of time, but let's just hope that we'll be able to finally get to the Windows 11 installation. Okay, it went away for a second, but now it says we're getting a few things ready. Okay, so now it's asking us for a Windows 11 product key. So I'll just go punch this in real quick. I'll select Windows 11 Pro right here, and let's just hope that that will work. Okay, and we get this PC's processor does not support critical feature POP CNT, and this PC's processor does not support critical feature SSE 4.2. So apparently there is a fix with the command prompt, so let's try that real quick. So my USB is drive F, so let's switch to that first. we go into the sources folder, setup prep / product server. And now that should launch the Windows installation once again. And now we have install Windows Server, so let's hope that this version will actually be supported, because that is what it said on the website. Okay, I'll just click this once again, select Windows 11 Pro. And there we go, it actually brought us to the license agreement. So that has 100% worked. I don't want to keep anything. And now we are actually installing Windows 11 on here, finally. So I'll just let the installation run. I will come back if there are any problems. I'll just let this run while I do things around the house, and hopefully it will be installed by the time I get back. But we have finally managed to start the installation. So cross our fingers, this should work.
And of course, it didn't work. The setup went through the first phase, but after the first reboot, it would just crash and boot back into Windows 7. So we are back to square one.
So it's the next day and I restarted this installation multiple times, but every time the PC reboots, it just reboots into this. So my last option currently is to make a Windows 10 bootable USB, try to upgrade Windows 7 over to Windows 10, and then maybe try to upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make a Windows 10 USB on my PC, start the Windows 10 installation, and we'll see if we can do it. And I just made a Windows 10 USB and plugged it into the Mac, so let's try running this setup. And okay, looks like that is going to work first time without needing any commands. So that is already a pretty good sign. We'll go for install Windows 10. Okay, and after quite a while, we finally managed to start the Windows 10 installation. So let's cross our fingers that this one will actually work, and maybe we'll be able to upgrade onto Windows 11 from Windows 10. So I'll just let this spin and I'll be back, hopefully, when we're in Windows 10. Oh my god, it actually rebooted and it is updating to Windows 10. Okay, this is a big breakthrough. Let's hope that it can finish working on this, and let's hope that we can actually boot into Windows 10. And then we might be able to start the Windows 11 installer again, but we'll see. This is already a pretty big deal. So I'll just let this finish and I'll be back when it's done. And several hours later, we are booting into Windows 10 for the first time. It will just apply the last updates right now, and then we will be in the Windows 10 desktop, which is already absolutely amazing. And here we are inside of Windows 10 on the MacBook. And it already looks amazing. Supermium has transferred over to Windows 10. I'm not sure if it will even function on here, but we won't be needing it anymore since now we can use pretty much any browser we want, but Supermium does still work just fine. Windows 10 is actually surprisingly snappy on here. That might be because this laptop is upgraded with an SSD, but yeah, everything works as intended and it looks absolutely amazing on the laptop. So right now I'm creating the Windows 11 install USB. I'm gonna try to install version 23H2 because I think upgrading to an older version of Windows 11 might work better on such an old machine. So I'm just creating it with Rufus like I did the first time. So I'll be back when I have the USB and we can try to upgrade to Windows 11. And here we have the Windows 11 USB, so let's hope that the setup will just work this time. And yes, it will. So I will just go through the setup if it lets me. I hope that right now we'll finally be able to get this working because I've been trying for 3 days already. So yeah, you guys have already seen this process of installing Windows 11. So hopefully next time I see you, we will be booting into Windows 11 for the first time. So yeah. Wish me luck, and I'll be back if this works. And after 3 days and a bunch of failed attempts, we are finally in Windows 11 on the MacBook right here. And as I said, same as in Windows 10, everything is surprisingly snappy. Like, that might seem slow to you, but this computer has 2 gigabytes of RAM, an ancient Core 2 Duo processor, but it does have an SSD, of course, which helps plenty. Yeah, everything pretty much works as intended, which is absolutely amazing. Let's go into properties right here. And yeah, Windows 10 definitely worked much better on this, but the goal was to install Windows 11. And there we go, we've got a 120 gig SSD, a 112 megabyte graphics card, 2 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM, and then 2.2 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo. So yeah, we've got Windows 11 Pro 23H2 installed, which is absolutely crazy, and we finally did it. So I will try to install Steam and run a game on this, because we have to, you know. It's actually so funky to see such a new operating system run on these older machines. They definitely weren't built for it. Install Steam and install and run Steam. Which game could we possibly run on here? Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have GTA San Andreas on my other account, so we might want to try that. So here I am on my other account, and here we've got GTA San Andreas. So let's try to install this game. It is not a big game and it is not very graphically intensive, so it might be able to run on this PC. But yeah, I'll just wait for this to install and I'll be back when we can play it. Okay, so the game has just been installed and I just launched it, so let's see if it will run on this thing. So I'll just start a new game and then we can tweak the settings if it even works. Okay, and here we are in GTA San Andreas. I think we have around 20-ish FPS at this resolution. Yeah, so this is not the greatest experience. I haven't installed any proprietary drivers. This is just what Windows gave me after the install, so that might also be a reason why it's running so bad. Maybe there are some better drivers for this graphics card. But yeah, San Andreas is working. Not the greatest, but you know, and I do have mouse steer on. I should probably turn that off. It's not running the greatest, but it works overall. Yeah, I'm not gonna try any other games just because if San Andreas runs at this pace, nothing else is pretty much gonna run better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. It took me quite a while to install Windows 11 on here, but it has finally worked. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Also, please check out my Twitter and Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next video.